Hey YouTube, I'm back with a deck profile video for Vanguard V-Series. This is a standard format. So this is going to be my, I guess, casual Gear Chronicle deck based off of the new cards from the Nextage Extra Booster, as well as some of the cards from the recent Chronojet trial deck. So this one focuses on the Upstream Dragon, Upclutch, and Melem lineup, because those three cards, I wanted to build the deck with those three cards because those are just classic, and that's how I remember Gear Chronicle prior to ZTB and prior to the game like changing dramatically throughout G series, where they eventually hit that deck with the restriction list, and then it kind of went to ZTB, and it was still broken with ZTB way later on. And then I kind of left the game, and then I came back in Standard. So here we are, fast forward a couple years later. Nextage is finally back in Standard. The deck is still really fun, regardless of whether you go all out on the focus on the Nextage or the Chronojet pure build with like Battleth and the support cards for Chronojet Dragon. But it's still really fun if you decide to go the other way, where you use Melem and Upstream and Upclutch. So that's what I'm focusing on. Now, eventually, I'll do another deck profile with this deck where I do focus on Chronojet Nextage or Chronodragon and Chronojet. More in line with, like, I guess, the more competitive build. But this one's for fun. This is literally just from what I just pulled from the boxes that I opened in one of the previous videos. So here's what I got. So for grade 4, we've got 4 Chronodragon Nextage. This is your main boss monster that you're going to go into at least twice per game. So you want to try, so you max him out basically, so you can see this card's effect go off multiple times. This combined with Chronojet Dragon is your win condition, essentially. So you got to run 4 of it. I am running 1 Metallica Phoenix from the trial deck. Metallica Phoenix is good as a secondary, like it's a good first. I guess I don't want to say stride because it's not stride, but it's a good first grade 4 superior ride. Just one of, because it's not really what you depend on to close out games. It's just there for the quick triple drive, because this deck, particularly my build, this build is not running any draw triggers. I do run the critical sentinels in this build, so it is a 12 crit deck. And if you want to go, you can't, unfortunately, because of the way this deck is designed, you can't really go Force 2. I guess you could, but this deck is really meant to play using Force 1. So because of that, I run 12 crit with a crit sentinel, and it does seem to work out. But I do feel like the deck does kind of lack in draw power compared to like Lost Legend, the previous Gear Chronicle deck for Standard. So I may put the draws back in at some point. Now, if I build a more Chronojet focused deck, I most likely will run the draw sentinels. But just for fun, I am running the Metallica Phoenix and the Nextages and 12 crits. And it's so far in playtesting, it does okay. It doesn't do great, but it's pretty fun to play overall, and it's unique. Alright, so for grade 3s, we're running 4 Chronojet Dragon. You gotta run 4 of Chronojet Dragon because he's your main boss monster. You gotta run max copies of it. Gear Chronicle is a strange, because of the grade 4 way they play, you do have to run weird numbers in terms of your grade 3 and your grade 2 and 1 lineup. So for grade 3, we run 3 Chronojet, and then because, like I said at the beginning, we focus on the 3 Stooges, or the trio, I guess, whatever you want to call them, we use 3 Upclutch Dragon as the other grade 3. Just 3 because there's not enough room to run the 4th one. If you wanted to run the 4th one, you'd have to drop Metallica Phoenix, and then the deck would run into issues with not having enough grade 4 superior rides. So that's why I would prefer to keep it like this. And in playtesting the deck, it seems to be that 3 is a good enough number so that you're able to call this out with the effect from Melem or Upstream. For grade 2, speaking of Upstream, we run 4 Upstream Dragon. Now, this guy did get an errata where it now only works on the rearguard circle, just like Melem. But it's still good. We run max copies of it because it's the middle of the 3. It's the grade 2, one is grade 3, and there's a grade 1. This one's the one you want 4 of because this is the one that you're going to you want to set up as an interceptor, and it helps search the other 2. And it's good to sit on the force markers that go on the rearguard circles. Because you superior ride a lot, you're going to get a lot of force markers, kind of like Shadow Paladin, like Mordred Phantom. So you can afford to use these 3 with the force markers on your rearguard lines. Next we run 3 Smoke-Gear Dragon, mainly because I only have 3. If I had a 4th one, I'd probably run 4. It's good because it's another, I guess, stride fodder unit for a Chronojet Dragon. And it does allow you to draw. So it does have the ability of when it attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets 5 cancel in a battle. And if you rogue grade 4 this turn, Soul Blast want to draw a card. So this is a very important card, so I definitely would like to run 4. I need a 4th copy, and once I have 4, I'll definitely run the max copies of it. But for now, I'm running as many as I have. That's a much needed card because it's a draw and it's a stride fodder. And then the only other grade 2 is running 3 Stroboscope Dragon. This skill is somewhat useful sometimes. It's kind of situational. I will be dropping this to 2 and bumping Smoke Gear up to 4. But you can see only 10 grade 2s, and that's mainly because of the grade 4s. The lineup is kind of funny. So for grade 1s, we run 4 Steam Breath Dragon. So Steam Breath Dragon is very important because you need this to search out your Chronojet Dragon, because you'll always want to have that grade 3 in your early hand. You don't want to have to ride Upclutch Dragon. That just, you're not really going to do too well if that happens. So this is a very important card. You're going to ride 4 of it. Next, 4 Bearing Rover, because this is your grade 1 discard for superior riding, essentially. This is from the trial deck. So I do run 4 of it. And the only other grade 1 is 3 Steam Maiden Melem. So the classic. So Melem, Upstream, and Upclutch. So I run 3 of her because there's not really enough room. We are only running 11 grade 1s, as you can see. So the lineup is very, I guess, limited on space. And if you really wanted to run 4 of her, you would have to drop a Bearing Rover. But I don't really recommend doing that. In playtesting the deck, 3 of her and 3 Upclutch seems like it's enough. As long as you run 4 of the Upstream, or I guess, well, if you wanted to run 4 of her, you'd have to drop a Rover, but then you'd have to drop, like, you definitely would have to run 4 Smoke-Gear Dragon, because you definitely want as many discard capability to get your grade 4 every turn. So that's why those cards are a higher priority. But this deck does run the Melem and the Upstream Dragon build, and I do like it. It has that whole nostalgia factor for those who used to play the old school Vanguard. So that's why I build the deck this way. So for the trigger lineup, it's like I said earlier, I'm running 4 of the Heart Thump Worker. Again, it's kind of nostalgia. It's a classic card for Chronojet Dragon, and it's a Sentinel, and it's a critical. So we're running 4 of it, and then 4 more criticals from the trial deck. 4 more, so that's 12 criticals total. And then, of course, we have to have Uluru as the heal. So 4 of those, and then Chrono Dran as the starter. So that's basically the deck. Let me know what you guys think. If you are running the Melem and the Upstream build, let me know how it's done for you, what you would change to try to keep them in. Like I said, I'll do another deck on uses like Bailiff and the more, I guess, competitive focused build that doesn't run Upstream and Melem. But I've had some interesting games where I actually won a game because my opponent didn't realize that I would be able to get so many extra attacks in, because these cards kept on calling each other out. And when you call one of them out, like I call Upstream and these 2 are already on the field, he stands up and then he can also attack. So he would attack. I would get like so many attacks. Like he would swing, Upclutch would swing, call Upstream, Melem's already on the field. He would stand up, then he would be on the other force circle, and he would, you know, do his thing. Then he would call another Upclutch, and then Upclutch would stand up because Melem and Upstream are on the field. So he would stand up on that other force marker on the other rearguard sign, and he'll get an extra attack in as well. So you can get multiple attacks in with these 3 cards. It's pretty interesting to see it go off. It is kind of high roll, but it is still really fun to see and satisfying when you actually win the game because of these guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.